Hi, Ashley. Fadi here. Thank you for getting back to me with your email on the director of sales role that you have at Clipboard Health. I appreciate you asking a few further questions, and I'm happy to discuss. I figured this would be an easy forum for me to kind of express some of my thoughts on those questions, and we can always dive deeper if need be, of course. So, first of all, you asked about, let me read this here correctly, a counterintuitive or a big insight that I had about my customer or the sales process that led to the biggest impact on my team's performance. What specific change did you implement across your team as a result of that insight, and how do you get them to stick so your team's performance permanently improved? It's a great question. I actually love this. There's a lot of things that we do at Indeed, and a lot of things that I've done with my team over the years. One thing I pride myself on is being adaptable and always adjusting and tinkering. I think you have to continuously find ways to be effective and efficient and improve that process. One of the ways that was actually counterintuitive, as you ask, is we found that the team constantly spending time on the phones, right? Calling clients all the time, trying to get them to post their jobs, trying to get them to work with us to make sure they're getting the right candidates in the door, etc. And they spend so much of their time on the phones and oftentimes leaving a voicemail and not getting any interaction, not getting any engagement. So we had to find a way to iterate this and kind of improve it. So the counterintuitive way that I have my team do now is triples. So it's a little bit of a baseball sports reference, but what we do is we hit triples and we track that. And what that means is, in order to hit a triple, we start with actually sending an email first. So your first reach out to the client is sending them an email. The reason being is after that, you're going to make a phone call. When you make that phone call, if you get a voicemail, you're going to reference the email. The value in that, most people will not probably write down your number when you leave it on the voicemail, but they will go back and reference the email you said. So it might sound something like, "Hi Ashley, Fadi from Indeed here, calling you about your open nurse roles. Sent you an email that is stating increase your visibility on Indeed. Go ahead and give me a call back to discuss ways we can improve that," or reference the email again. The subject line is increase visibility on Indeed, and they usually will go back, look for that email, and reply back via the email and communicate that way, or actually pick up your number from there and call you. And what we've noticed with that is we actually have a 13% uptick in callbacks, which is significant given how many phone calls we make every given day, every given week, just by instituting that triples process. We track it every day. So that's how I know it's going to stick. That's how I make sure it sticks. Every single day, I have a doc sheet that the team goes in and posts on there how many triples on their team they've had, how many people have met them, and we try to kind of baseline that initially and create a goal. And so the goal right now is to hit 30 triples every single day for every rep. Obviously, calls where you get a hold of people and you talk to them are not part of that. That's the intent there. But really hitting a triple, if you can do that while also conducting 2 or 3 demos every day and making sure you're doing the rest of your work, you're going to be a very, very successful rep, and you're going to get a lot of callbacks, a lot of engagement from the people you're calling. So I hope that answers that question. Question 2 is, how do you manage the bottom 50% of your team, either up or out? How did you figure out what actions to take? How did you get those changes to stick within the organization? And what did you change in your hiring training going forward to avoid that issue in the future? Again, good question here. Naturally, we make some hiring mistakes sometimes. Naturally, we get some reps who maybe don't thrive right away or take some time to really develop, and they're probably characterized as the bottom 50 at that point. And you want to work with them in an equitable way to make sure we can kind of raise them up to the standard or figure out that this is not the right job for them. First and foremost, kind of the 3 pillars that I base my leadership style on are coaching, accountability, and consistency, right? So if you kind of put those in play, that's the best way to manage not just the bottom 50, but really everyone. As we focus on the bottom 50, we have to put a process in place that looks like a very repeatable, successful process. This is what your day looks like. This is what I need you to do. This is how you go about your day. This is maybe some of the call scripting that you should probably try using that's working as a best practice for other reps. If we institute a process for their day that really just leaves their skill set that's different, because if everybody's doing the same process on what success looks like, there's maybe now left 30-40% that's just part of their skill set. And that's when we can zoom in with the coaching to figure out what they're missing. You do that by basically getting on call calibrations, jumping on phone calls, and demonstrating for them what success should look like and sound like. And from there, analyzing, are they not successful because maybe they just can't get a hold of the right person? Or is it different because when they get a hold of the people, they have a hard time moving the ball forward and moving kind of the deal along? Which element is it that they need to work on, and kind of keep zooming in until we figure out where we can make the most improvement. We've had that baseline from the beginning to understand how much we can improve and how quick with a realistic expectation, right? So maybe they're not setting enough demos, and that's the beginning of it. And we want to see that, hey, look, right now you are trending at like 5 demos a week, and the goal in the office is 12. In the next 2 weeks, I'd love to see you move the needle from 5 to 8. And if we can move that, then all of a sudden we're having progress and we're getting them to where we need to. If we're not doing that, that's when we have a serious conversation and say, what do you think? Are you enjoying this? Do you feel like you can be successful at this? And if not, then maybe this is just not right for you, and that's okay too. If it is, and you want to keep going, what are you going to do differently, right? What not just what mental attitude are you going to come in with, but what kind of effort are you going to put forward that you feel is going to make the change? Now, the second part of the question is kind of how do we change that in our hiring process? We're constantly iterating on kind of the blueprint of what we look for, but to me, what I found is the 3 things I look for when hiring to avoid having people ever be in the bottom 50 is I look for great attitude, right? I look for great effort, and I look for coachable. So those are the 3 things I look for. Attitude, first and foremost. Don't want any trouble, don't want any drama, don't want anybody that is negative or not positive and just kind of really bringing the team down and themselves down. Effort, right? I can't teach hard work. I need people who come in and work hard and understand the value of that. I can tell them the why and connect the dots, but I need them inherently to be hard workers and give a lot of effort. And lastly, coachability, right? If they are coachable, we can work with them to improve them. I don't need great salespeople. I just need great people that I can then mold into great salespeople. And that happens when they decide to work hard, they have a great attitude, and they're very coachable. I hope those answers cover all the questions. I'm happy to dive deeper, of course, into any element of it, and I look forward to our conversation. Thanks, Ashley. Make it a great day.